Should you work with buyers or sellers as a new agent? If you watch this video to the end, you will find out how I was able to generate over $350,000 in gross commission income as a new agent my first year in real estate. I do this thing with my hands again. The slider's gonna keep on sliding. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm Vladimir Westbrook, and on this channel we get straight to the point on real estate topics. Right away, full disclosure. The things I'm going to be talking about in this video are based on my personal experience and experience of the agents that I coached in my company, Westbrook Realty. They may or may not apply in the area of your expertise, but I will share some of my thoughts whether you should be working with buyers or sellers your first year in real estate. So when I got in real estate as a new agent back in 2015, I was trying to solve two problems. Problem number one is, what will be the source of my business? Where am I going to be getting clients? Problem number two was, what's going to be my niche? How am I going to be different from my competition? So let's talk about problem number one. When I was talking to many different agents on conferences, agents that I knew in the field, and I was asking them, what should I be doing my first year in real estate? A lot of them, majority, was telling me concentrate on sellers. If you can figure out how to work with sellers, that's the name of the game, and you're set, you can build your career in it. Almost every person was telling me that. And I figured, I'm gonna try and go against the flow. If everybody is telling me concentrate on the sellers, why not concentrate on buyers? Because it's almost like if everybody's thinking in the same way, the potential is there to find more buyers while everybody else is chasing sellers. So that's what I did, and I concentrated on first-time home buyers. And the best source where I could potentially find them was open houses. I was hosting open houses for other agents on their listings, just helping them out for a hope that I would find a client that would be willing for me to represent them. And when you think about it, what are the chances of you potentially meeting a seller at the open houses? They are small, they are there, but they are really small. Compared to that, what are the chances of you meeting a potential buyer at the open house? They go dramatically higher. And also you have that interaction of face-to-face, you can talk to the person and you can engage in a conversation with them and sell your services and potentially represent them as a buyer on this property or other properties they may be interested in. So that was my way to resolve problem number one, where to find clients, do a lot of open houses every weekend and meet with them and represent them. Problem number two was, what's my niche and how am I different from the competition? I had a big interest in new construction, new developments, single family homes, condos, townhomes, all of the different property types. And the reason I like new construction, because it looks great, it smells great, right? Everybody knows the new car smell. Well, new house smell is similar to it, and there's typically no problems with new construction. So you buy a brand new home that is ready to move in, and it was exciting for me, and I figured I'm gonna make that a niche. Interestingly enough, a lot of the agents I was talking to at that time also told me concentrate on resale. There is nothing to do in new construction. And here as well, I decided to go against the flow and see what's gonna happen if I will concentrate on new construction. It worked out really well for me, and I was able to meet some of the investors that were interested in new construction and also first-time home buyers that were interested in new construction. And that sort of became my thing. I was doing a lot of open houses, meeting people, telling them about new construction. And now, because a lot of agents were not specializing in new construction, I was able to gain their interest in exploring new development opportunities and schedule an appointment right at the open house to go and tour something the next day. So that was the way I was starting building a database of buyers and a database of new construction. So the last thing that was left to figure out is how to match the two. And I just started matching the buyers with the new construction developments that I had in a database. Interestingly, I was able to get into 18 transactions that first year. That equated to roughly over 14 million in sales, and that led to over $350,000 in gross annual commission. What's next after this, right? When are the sellers coming in? I started concentrating more on sellers the next year. And there are a few things here that I want to mention. First of all, working with a lot of buyers gave me a lot of experience of buyer psychology, whether the buyer is going to be willing to come up in certain cases, how they look at disclosures, how they look at contingencies. And I strongly believe that in order to represent the sellers in a good way, you need to understand the psychology of the buyer. And concentrating on buyers, the entire year that I dedicated my career to was allowing me to become a better sellers agent when I did start working with sellers. Also, coming into my third year in real estate, some of my buyers that I helped buy a property the first year, they started becoming my sellers. So that allowed me an opportunity to have people that already trusted me, already knew how my service is going to be, because they already purchased the property with me, to hire me for selling their property. So it's much easier when you have that trust already established working with those clients. So once again, started with buyers the first year, and I think it's also worth mentioning because $350K may seem like a big figure, and I don't think I took a single day off that first year. It was complete grind mode. I was just trying to concentrate on building that business without looking back. So talking about life and work balance, it was mostly work and work balance, but looking back, I'm happy the way that worked out and happy that that allowed me to build a stronger business, right? So you decide if that's something you're willing to commit to, but we do see that that's something that works well. And another thing that I believe helped me is, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about sellers my first year. I had full concentrations on the buyers, and I didn't take any detours because in the beginning I decided that that's what I'm going to concentrate on, and I wasn't looking for additional opportunities, or I didn't want to change my business in any way until I felt confident that, okay, now I know what I'm doing, I can work with sellers, and I can tell you right now that working with sellers is much more difficult, at least in my experience, than with buyers. So I do strongly believe that first it's important to become a strong buyer's agent, and then you can become a strong seller's agent, potentially representing some of the sellers that previously were buyers. Finally, one more thought is that I recommend for this transition not to be abrupt. Basically, if you dedicated first year to working with buyers only, I don't recommend deciding that second year you're working with sellers only, because I've seen this many times before, where if you shift your business in a major way, it may come to the halt, and you don't want to do that. So I do recommend to still concentrate perhaps 80% on buyers, 20% on sellers, and then moving forward increasing that gap, 70-30, 60-40, and then at the end of the game, in order to have a successful career, you need to specialize in both and be able to adjust to what the market dictates. If it's more appropriate to work with buyers, then shift to that. If it's more appropriate to work with sellers, shift to that. But once again, I recommend starting with buyers, and then when the time is right, shifting to sellers. Hopefully this video was helpful on your real estate journey and during your first year in real estate. If you're into this kind of content, stay tuned. We're posting videos every week, 2 times on Tuesdays and Fridays. And remember, your success is our priority.